Welcome. Welcome to Yeshiva Dashir, sponsor Nishma Azam B'Yakashom L'Abasitzchok. We're holding in Basra of Kuf Samech Zayin. We're in the third line from the top. Says the Gemara, Omar Abai, third line, Abai, Hayman Debai LeMichve Chatimus Yod De'Betila. Someone wants to show his signature in Beis Din. What does it mean to show a signature in Beis Din? You want to, the Rishban brings this scenario. Sometimes you cannot come and testify on your own signature. Why would that be? So we have that in a few places in Shas, Gittin, and other places, that if you have two 8, you have Reuben and Shimon 8. Reuben is not here. He's traveling, he died. Shimon knows Reuben's Chasima. So Shimon says, you know what? I'll bring Levi. Me and Levi will testify on Reuben's Chasima. Gewaldig. Levi knows Reuben Chasima. Yeah. They know the Chasima, you see. But Shimon, there's nobody to testify on his Chasima except himself. If he does testify on himself, that's called Nechi Riva de Amoino Apumo Dechad. It means 3/4 coming from him, because he's giving testimony on his own signature, and he's giving another testimony, half a testimony. Him and Levi are testifying on Reuven. So half of Reuven and full of him come from him. That they can't do. The rule is you can't do 3/4, and it has to be half and half. So what do? Let's say he has nobody else who knows or recognizes the signature of Shimon. Shimon signs his name and gives it to Beis Din, like he did today. You have the banks, right? So there's the banks. They have to sign your name, and then they compare your signature to the signature that they have in file. So what you're doing is you're putting the signature in file in Beis Din. You say, Beis Din, this is my signature, take it. Beis Din are to be the ones that compare the two signatures, and they're going to say, okay, we see it's the same person. And then it's not considered to be his edus, that's why it's fine. So says the Gemara, let's say you want to sign this thing. Be very careful. Why be very careful? Because if you sign the end of the shtar, someone may find this document and right on top, me, Shmer Barrel, I owe $1 million to Ployne Elmoin. So don't do that. Make sure the signature is on top of the page, not on the bottom of the page. Or on the side of the page, meaning on the side that you can't write anything next to it. That's what it says. Hayman the He wants to give his signature to Beis Din. Don't write in the end of the Megillah. Maybe someone will find it. The cost he's going to write the Mostik Bezuzim. This guy owes the money. So if someone brings out a star and it says in the star, me Shmer Barrel owe money to Yankel and signing, that's a good star, at least for the Chosim Nechoim. You can come and take out money from without cost. Says the Gemara, who Basbino? What's Basbino? Basvino is a moiches. What's a moiches? A moiches is a tax collector, which always the kuf samech zayin. A tax collector is somebody who is always in the Gemara. A moiches is a Rasha. What is a Rasha? Even though the Gemara does bring that there were, there was a Meroyim that used to be a tax collector. So that's Yoitz B'Nekal. Usually the moiches is referring to someone who's a Rasha, because you stick money that doesn't deserve. So Ahu Basbino do also kavei dabai goes in front of Abai. Omelei nixlei mar chatimas yodim. So I want to see the Basbino. This moiches was a trickster. He tells Abai, I love you so much. You're such a special person. Chashav Rav. You know what I want to do? Sign me your name, so I will recognize your name. So then what? He says, if you're going to show me your signature, you know what I'm going to do? Every time a rabbi, a Talmud goes next, and he has a document on your name, it says, Rabbi says, this guy is good. He has a skama from you, and I see it's your signature, I'm not going to take taxes from him. So give me your signature so we're able to know what it is. Says the Gemara, so you put it on top of the Megillah. You want my signature here? So the Moiches is trying to pull the Megillah down so he's able to sign the bottom. In other words, what does Moiches want him? He wanted to sign the bottom so he can add it at the top that Abai owes the money. So he tells the Moiches, you think you can trick me? Or mocking you? In the Sefer HaBoyin is one of the Sfarim which is brought down on the in Yaakov. So there he brings, what does it mean, Kadmucha Rabbanon? Rabbanon, their wisdom of Rabbanon is, they know the whole world before anything happened. They know the Bria Soil in the beginning. So they can predict all the tricksters, what they're trying to do and how they're trying to do it. It says, they know already what you're trying to do. Yaakov knew. Very good. And none of them. Says the one like this. In the end of the line, don't write plus 3 and until 10. Don't write 10. Oh, why not? Because you always can add the letters Yud Nun, and it'll be instead of tlas, it'll be taltin. What's the difference between tlas and tlosin? 30. Arba yikrai arboin. Chamesh yikrai chamishi. You add the Yud Nun. Right? It's like at the end of the check, you have to do these lines to make sure nobody adds. Yeah. So you're adding another Yud Nun. It becomes instead of 3, 30, 4, 40. Until you get to 10. 10, you also can add Yud Nun, and it becomes Esrin. It becomes 20. But a chadasar you can't do anymore, because then the losha is funny. Echad Esrin, right? It's not. You have to write. You don't write the word. You write shleishim. So or echad Esrin, you say echad ve'esrin. Above. So therefore, there you now chleishim. But from 3 to 9 to 10, make sure not to write in the end of the page. Right in that page, maybe they can add a yud nun. To also train. What for 3? No, train. 2 you don't have the problem. How do you say 2 and 20? It's esrim and train. Shnai there's no, you can't add Yud Nun. So Rishon you don't have. Rishon. Only for 3 above, then you add Yud Nun because of the new word, because Loshen Ra. So there's the word, don't write in the sheet of Dimun Muzah because of. What happens if someone has to write the number 9, but it's at the end of the Shita? So what should he do? It says, Nehadri Lediburi Train Kladzim. Repeat yourself. Remember, the one said before that you always have a summary at the end of the star. So write 9 and then write it again. And the $9 that were land, he did a kinyan. And then this was the $9. You repeat it a few times to show, make sure that's the $9. Okay? If Shadlam is trying to learn the Shito, and one of the times will be in the middle of the Shito, you can't memorize. Also, yeah. So why they go out to say 2, 3 times? Just say that last time, that's it. Maybe to avoid what we said before in the previous daf, you have a steer between the ratio and the seifel. Right, 2, 3 times it will be 3 times it says one way. You know that one is the extra one is mezuyaf. There was a star. It says over there, I'm giving you a third of orchard. Tilto bepardeso, a third from the orchard. Also, machgai legagi the base. Comes the guy, the receiver, and he wanted to do as youth. He takes out the top of the base. And it says tilto bepardiso, vicarios took down the bottom of the base. The shave vov upardiso. Right, the base, you have a base. He takes the top and the bottom. So you're left with he basically erased the base, it's above. So the tliso, tilto, upardiso. A third and a portion. Meaning not only a third, it's 1 1/3. So, this vav is very far, right? Because when you write a base, the base, it needs more space in the vav. If you erase the top and the bottom, right, man, you have too much space between the vav and the next letter. So it says beparde, so base, pay. He took the base, he erased a little bit, stay with the vav. So we have a space between the vav and the pay. He says, why do you have space over here? Because he figured out the guy was forging the ksav. So he tied him up until he said, I admit. He said, it says over there, I'm giving you as a gift, I'm giving you the chelik of Reuven and Shimon, the brothers. Reuven and Shimon, they happen to be brothers. So happened to be, there was a third brother. His name was Achi. This guy wasn't happy with the 2 parts, went to the third. Also, Kosa Beivov, Vishavi Ve'achi. He wrote, I'm giving you Reuven, Shimon, and Achi. You'll get the chelik of Reuven, of Shimon, and Achi. That's not what the star wrote. The star wrote Reuven and Shimon, the brothers. But he added the vav, and that became 3 chalokim, Reuven, Shimon, and Achi. Also, my time why this vav is so narrow? There's no space there, right? Because you have to stick a vav between. There's not enough room. He tied him and he was like that. In other words, the Gemara brings over here different ways the tricksters tried to trick the Chachamim and the Chachamim stopped them. How started that Chasim Alei Rava v'Rabacha Ba'ado. Rava and Rabacha Ba'ado were signing on a shtar. Also committed the Rava. This guy came in front of Rava. Amar Lei Din Chatimos Yodo Didiu. Rava says, this is my signature. It's my signature. I never signed together Rabacha Ba'ava. It says here this shtar was me and Rabacha Ba'ava signed together. I never signed for Rabacha Ba'ava. I don't remember signing with Rabacha Ba'ava. I know he says seemingly for the case, I don't remember exactly all the shtars that I signed. The shtar it could be I signed. It was an aid in many cases. This case I don't remember, but I do remember I never signed Rabacha Ba'ava. We never signed together. So he went and tied up this guy until he was moided. He forged it. I understand that my signature you're able to figure it out. He's shaking. He shakes. So his signature is a shaky signature. How do you do that? How do you make sure to look authentic? That's really shaking. What I did was I tied my hand on the matzah. The matzah is a rope that goes from one side of the river to the other, and the rope was moving. I tied and then I signed, so it was always mama shaking. Or because there's another thing I did. Zanuka is we take the bucket to fill the water from the well, and you come up. That bucket, when you take it down, it doesn't go straight down. It's like shaking. I tied myself to the zanuka, so my whole body was shaking, and then I signed. So that's how I got to that thing. This, by the way, is a case. The many of the Rishonim you bring this case as an example of Tosis in a few places in Shas. Bring this. Remember that case, the Gemara, how a person can forge something so well. The Rava himself says, "This is my signature. This is my signature. I recognize it." And the only way he realized that it wasn't his signature is because he figured out that he didn't sign with the other person. So the level of forgery is so strong that you can't really rely on Eidim. That's why the Tais brings a raya. You can't rely on just a signature because you recognize it. It's not enough. Sometimes. Okay, so look at the Mishnah. A person, you write a get to a husband, even though the wife is not with him. This is simple, because a husband can divorce his wife whenever he wants. He doesn't need the consent of the wife. That's pashut. So because of that, you could write the get whenever you want. You could also write a shaver to a woman, even though the husband is not with her, because the shaver is her chayva. What's the shaver? Shaver says a receipt. I received my ksuva. The husband, for him, it's a schus. He's very happy to get that receipt. So maybe as a demo, the problem is writing stars for somebody else. Says, who said I agree? You're writing a star that I owe you money. I never borrow money. Don't write stars on my name. But if you're doing it for my schus, you agree. The husband's very happy to get a receipt. So the wife can write the receipt, keep it by her. She needs to make sure not to lose it. And then you don't need the consent of the husband to write the receipt because he for sure agrees. They have to recognize, we'll see in the Gemara what that means, they have to recognize the Eid. The Eid you have to recognize. The husband has to give the reward has to pay the sefer for both, the get and the shefer. He wants to explain why. Next topic is the shefer. Continues the Mishnah that goes on the base. This is a very famous Gemara. Even though the malve is not with him. So the loive can write, I borrowed money from, meaning Shimon, Reuben lent money to Shimon. Now, Shimon did not get any money, but he's writing it because he wants to be ready. He goes to Reuben, can you please give me a loan? I don't have time to write stars. Shtar is ready. Here. All you need to do, give me the money, here's the shtar. He wants the shtar to be ready. So, You don't write to the malve unless the loiv is zima, because that's a chayv. You're writing that I owe you money. The loiv needs to pay for the sefer. He's benefiting from it, he has to pay for it. We'll see more about it in the Gemara, but that's basically the concept. You write a shtar to the seller against a choy for him that he's selling the karka, so even though the buyer is not here. The same reason. The lokach has to pay for it, for that, similar to the loiv, he gets the benefit. What story that they both, we talk about the agreement of how much money that this father gives, so you can't do it unless everybody agrees. The chassid side needs to pay for the shtar. Risus says that you have a sharecropper, and kablana says that a person accepts himself to do a work for somebody else. So yeah, certain work. I'm gonna, sew for you. This, I'll weave. This clothing. So don't write it without the ashtem. We'll see the Gemara why. The one who receives, he's the one who's getting it is the one who pays for it. And the story biru means that you have pashas means that the way you mevar things to make sure between people. Story based in other words, you have your discussion between two and you verify it. And both of them agree. They both have to pay for it. You have to write to both of them. Each one gets two stars, and all this we'll see Beis Hashem in the Gemara in the next daf. Says the Gemara, when you write to the Ish, you have to make sure that they recognize it, they know it. What does it mean? They need to know the name of the man in the get, the name of the woman in the shaver. He asked the question. You need to know only the name of the man, of the husband, and the get, not the wife. The woman writes, you need to recognize only the woman, not the husband. Why? Maybe what's going to do? He's going to go and write a get. The lady will say, he says, I'm writing the get. Very nice. We're divorcing? You're divorcing Sprinza. They don't know his wife, his name is Rachel. Now what he's doing, he's trying to trick. He's going to give Sprinza the get, and they'll do some kind of a kenunya. But so why? How do you do such a thing? How do you aid him right just by knowing the husband, not knowing the wife? Sometimes they'll a shaver and they'll give the shaver to the husband who's not their husband, and they have a receipt. Now here it's clear, even though the one that I mentioned over here, it's clear that at least one side it has the same name, because if this Reuben goes and gives a get to the wife of Shimon. It says Reuben is divorcing Shmitza. What does it help? Her husband is Shimon. All it means is he's going to give to somebody else whose name is Reuben. Just he has a different wife. His wife, his name is Reuben. We'll see the Gemara soon. A classic example of Yeshiva and Shimon. He has the name Yeshiva and Shimon, the classic name, and his wife's name is Rachel. The other one has the name of Shimon, his name is Shprinza. If I write the name Shprinza, so maybe it's given to the other wife.
So who benefits by this?
So the benefit is she'll get divorced by that, get her ksuva, and they'll split the profits. He gives it to the wife. Let's say one classic example.
The second wife, the other couple, she'll get a divorce, take the ksuva from the other husband, and then split it with the first guy.
Yeah.
But you think the other husband's an idiot? I mean, he's going to go.
No, she's going to go to Besdin and say,
I have a get. I have a get with 280.
I have a get. This is my
right. No, you have to have both.
Both names.
What? Both names. The Eidim have to recognize the husband and the wife. Right? I mean the names of the husband and the wife. So 1 second. Maybe you have two people with the same name and the same wives. That's what it means over here. Maybe the husband of one will give it to the other because they have the same names. So I'm going to write a get for one. I'm not chosh to that. Shnei Yosef ben Shimon Adorim Birachas in Mekarshim Nishasem Elo Zeh Bivnei Zeh. Shnei Yosef and Shimon live in the same city. They don't get divorced unless they're both there. Tais here, very long Tais discusses where according to what we're talking about. If you remember, Maseches Gittei a big machlokes, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Lozer, if Eidi Chasima Karti or Eidi Mesira Karti. So Tais is busy. According to Rabbi Meir, Eidi Chasima Karti. Anyway, you need to know. What does it mean? You don't have to divorce in front of them. You do it without Edim Masira. So he said, the Maskora is to talk about Edim Masira. The Edim Masira need to know. Why? Sisters, what do you mean? Why do you need to have both? They will see who's divorcing who. So he says sometimes Edim Masira, they're not so focused. Comes out a nice guy, they don't know him so well. He brings a woman, he says, this is my wife. What's your name? ID, Sprinza. Makes sense. They give it to her. They don't realize it's not his Sprinza. His Sprinza is the other Sprinza. But if you have both, you're two husbands, two wives, you make sure there will be no mess up over here.
And if he doesn't want to come,
you can't divorce. Listen to what Chashav V'Choshesh over here. So maybe he's going to another city. Because of Gitu Mantilele Zadach. Maybe this guy's name is Reuven. Not Yosef ben Shimon. But he wants to do this Kinuni. So what does he do? He's going to travel somewhere else. There, he's going to come with a new name. He's going to put it in a registry. My name is Yosef ben Shimon. And this city is only one guy. There's only one Yosef ben Shimon. So he adds, he comes with his wife, obviously. Not alone. So he comes with his wife. They live there for a while. And he goes to the Eidim and says, my wife, that's my no use of sharing the city, please give me a get with my name. No problem. Then he goes to the next city and he will give the get to that woman. In other words, he's gonna do this whole thing, this whole kinnunya will be, he's gonna go to another city and give his name over there.
So his wife must not be in Kibutz on this one.
Yes. Yes. In this case, yes. The Chor.
So he can do this from city to city to city to city.
City to city. Yeah, 30. You give him 30 days. You don't. If it's here 30 days, you know it's not a trick, because people don't keep a false name for so long. If you look at the Rashbam, to go around for 30 days in the city with a different name, it's like among Yidden. What are you doing here? It's Yosef right now. What Yosef? I know you from kindergarten. What do you mean? So within 30 days, they're going to figure it out. That's the Gemara and say that's the understanding. Says the Gemara, what happens if I don't have chazaka? You didn't have a 30 days time. There's right now, it's a time of pressure. You need to write again. What should you do? Oh my Abaye, the korulevani. So I have another trick. Go behind his back and clearly say Yosef. And if he says yes, that's his name. Says no. A guy who's a real trickster, he trains himself. Every time someone says yes, he turns around. So you can't rely on that. And Yemela what? 30 days you can't divorce. That's the maskana. Because you assume that a person is not going to.
But if he lives in the town 30 days?
If he lives in that 30 days and we don't know any other name, I'm assuming that's his real name. And I give him the get. To assume that he changed his name just to come and trick a person in another city, and that's why he came with a false name, that's within 30 days. So more than 30 days, not anymore. Within 30 days, I can't come and say that maybe he changed his name just to trick, because even if you call him, he may train himself to answer this name, to turn around, so nobody will know that he's trying to do this whole trick. And that's the Gemara concludes it. Interesting, right? Mamash a whole daf about the Ramoim. How do the Ramoim work? How they operate? How much Rabbanan have to take into account for the Ramos?
I didn't even know if the Lovin was such a Ramoy.
Sarah's morning, right? Okay.